Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? This is your brother Shabazz coming to you live, not at the regular time. This is Friday morning, 9 a.m. and we're gonna get it started. I won't be up here too long. I got a whole lot of stuff to go and do in the real world offline, but I wanted to try this out. This new time slot, and see what's gonna happen. Let me get this music started a little bit, just to make sure it's working. We're talking about ICE this morning. How y'all doing? We're going to be talking about ICE. We're going to be talking about the Trump administration. The great ICE shell game. That's what we're talking about. Breaking prisons to build a Gestapo. Quite interesting information. I found on ProPublica. So I figured, okay, let's air it out. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what this is about. So because you know they like to tell you they're the party of law and order. They tell you they're securing the nation. But while they're busy pushing this propaganda, the actual infrastructure, and I want to emphasize that word because the last time I was up here live, we had a conversation about infrastructure and its failings in America. But so they're pushing propaganda while the actual infrastructure of federal security is rotting from the inside out. So this morning, we're talking about a massive ProPublica investigation that proves the Orange administration is cannibalizing the Federal Bureau of Prisons to staff its mass deportation machine. Now, we all know how horrible this ICE agency is, but it gets deeper than that. They're playing a shell game. They aren't making us safer. Like, we know they're not making us safer on the streets, because Minneapolis for one, DC for another, California for another, just the tip of the iceberg. And as bad as it is there, here's what's worse. They're actually moving people. They're actually moving staff, employees, so-called trained, but not really, from one failing bucket to a new, more violent one. And they're lying to the new recruits to get them there. And that's what's even funnier about it. These misinformed individuals who think they are going to jump ship from one government agency to another one, to a better one. And that is not what's happened. Let me see. Shout out to Jose. Are you spiritually prepared? Have you trusted the blood atonement of Jesus Christ for eternal life? I see why some people are laughing in the chat. Shout out to Jose for your participation. Not necessarily sure this is the right place for you, bro. Sasha laughs. And Hasplay says, I like your videos. I appreciate that. Please like and share. I give you a shout out every time you do that. I like your videos. I appreciate that. But let's get back, and shout out to everybody that's just joining. If you're watching, whether you're watching vertical or horizontal, if you feel like jumping into the chat, then let me know where you're listening from. If you're in the chat, where are you watching? Where are you listening from? Let me know where you're living at. So this whole thing, there's what's being called the BOP exodus. ProPublica is doing a deep dive. So let's look at the facts. Because they dropped this report titled, We're Broken, as federal prisons run low on food and toilet paper. corrections officers are leaving in droves for ICE. Now, did you know by November 2025, the BOP lost 1,400 more staff than it hired? Check that math. I didn't say they lost 1,400 staff. I said they lost 1,400 more than they hired. Now, they didn't go on the record as to how many they hired. But let's look at it this way. Let's say they hired 5,000 people. That means they lost 6,400 people. If they hired 10,000 people, that means they lost 11,400 people. This is a crisis. Now, why did they lose so many people? Because the ICE organization, because the Orange administration is poaching them. Brain drain is what they call it when one country poaches the brains and the talent from another country. So you could call it that here too. Now, on the record with ProPublica, one union official said, and I quote, "We're broken and we're being poached by ICE. It's unbelievable. People are leaving in droves." Now, this is interesting for anybody, especially if you claim that you're about law and order. How you gonna empty out the federal prison system? I thought that was one of the law and order bastions. So let's think about this false narrative here. They claim to care about crime, but federal prisons are so underfunded. Get that right. They're underfunded. These federal prisons are already they've always been underfunded. Now they're even more so because the Orange administration, they are so underfunded that they're running out of soap and toilet paper. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but when prisons are understaffed, they go on lockdown. And when prisons go on lockdown, there's no rehabilitation services going on. Now, the whole idea of incarceration is to give people an opportunity to rehabilitate themselves. But when you ain't got the money and you got to go on lockdown and you don't have any rehab, what happens? It becomes a bastion for violence. They're literally creating, the Trump administration, are creating a powder keg in the BOP just to fund their PR campaign about controlling the border. And that's the shell game. Who's on first? He's going to take you back out. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Because there's a training myth, and the death toll gets bigger. You've heard the names. You've heard, well, maybe you haven't. Some people haven't, and Lord knows, especially when it comes to black and or brown folk, our names don't get pushed to the front of the room. But if you haven't heard the names, Keith Porter Jr., add that to the list if you didn't already, to Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretty. All three of them were killed by federal agents, over the last few weeks, month, or whatever. Keith Porter Jr. was shot by an ICE agent in LA on New Year's Eve. Renee Good and Alex Pretty were gunned down in Minneapolis in broad daylight by ICE agents. Is it a coincidence? Well, let's look at the training. The Atlantic and the NPR. These are two very credible news agencies. They've confirmed that ICE has slashed training time. So when you become an ICE agent, well, how much training do they actually get? Traditional federal law enforcement training is about 5 months. Clock that. Now and I'm not saying that's enough. Clearly, it's not enough, because most of these federal law enforcement employees, they hit the streets and they don't know how to behave. But even with that, traditionally, they get 5 months of training. But under the new Orange administration, 5 months has been cut to 47 days. 47 days. That number ring a bell to you? 47? Why? Why'd they cut it to 47 days? Because the Orange administration is kowtowing to the orange man himself, the 47th president. So somebody in those ivory towers of the orange administration's political machinery, it literally decided to base national security training links on a vanity ego trip. You take a corrections officer who is used to whatever training he has, whatever training she has, they are used to a controlled environment. And that's the basis, that's the extent of their training, a controlled environment. They don't have guns. They don't have weapons. And you're going to give them 40 days of Uncle Sam Gestapo orientation and put them on the street with a badge and a gun. That's how you get dead citizens. These are not highly trained patriots. At best, they are undercooked recruits being rushed into the field to meet a deportation quota. Now, the funny thing, the sad thing, the joke's on you. Here's what's so very interesting. How are they doing the poaching? Why are people leaving? Well, they're leaving because their initial employer is being underfunded. And then they hear the good news. If you sign up for ICE, you get $50,000 sign-in bonus. That's in addition to, that's on top of whatever the dollar amount. So yeah, even if it's a lateral move, you're going from one agency to the next and there's no extra bump in salary, but a $50,000 sign-in bonus, that's enough to get you in. But now here's the curious thing. Have you heard about the rumors? Have you heard that it's a scam? If you heard the rumors, then yeah, you heard right. If you go looking at the fine print, and you can check out the Marshall Project, and you can check out Law for Small Business. Those are two different agencies, or organizations, I should say. That $50,000 that they promising you, you don't get it on day one. You don't even get it at the end of your 47 days of training. At best, you get it in yearly increments. They'll give you $10,000 for year one, and so on and so forth. It's going to take you 5 years to get that $50,000 signing bonus. Now, I don't know. That really don't sound like, that sound like something fishy going on to me. They lock you into a service agreement. If you quit before your 5 years, if you get fired for some bad activity, hint, hint, for any reason you quit. Let's say you quit because you're just dissatisfied. Let's say you quit because you feel like, okay, this is way more than I can handle. Let's say you quit because the Gestapo tactics that they're telling you to do messes with your mind, messes with your spirit. But as soon as you quit, you owe it back. As one legal analyst puts it, the quote unquote free money starts to look like a loan with strict behavioral covenants. So, unbeknownst to you, the bonus was never really yours. It was so very conditional, you might lose it before you ever get a chance to use it. They are baiting these officers with money that they'll likely never fully see. You might get some of it. You'll get the first one. You get the 10,000 in the first year. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but like they're showing the videos where these fools, I'm sorry to call them that. I'm not really trying to be, disparaging, but if you sign up for ICE, then you're either evil or you're foolish. But these fools is being run out of everything. They can't go and get the Mexican food that they want to eat. They can't go and get the Hispanic tacos that they want to eat because they're getting run out of the restaurants. So again, they're baiting these officers with money that they probably won't fully see, just to get them to do the dirty work of the Orange administration. Fascism is a hell of a drug. So, okay, let's wrap this up. I said I wasn't going to be here that long. I just wanted to do a quick check-in. So let's, in conclusion, the facade, the false narrative. It's not just a lie about history. It's not just a lie about race. It's not just a lie about ethnicity and borders. It's a lie about competence. They're gutting the prisons. They're cutting training from 5 months to 47 days. And they're killing people. They're arresting people. They're giving jail records. They're giving arrest records to people who otherwise would not have that. And if you think that's not going to come back to bite somebody a year from now, 2 years from now, when somebody is trying to apply for a job or something or similar, oh, it says here you were arrested. I don't know if we want to deal with. So this is an ongoing, this is a now problem with future ramifications. And they're trapping these recruits in predatory contracts. This is not law and order. It's highly disorganized, although, no, it's not entirely. It looks disorganized, but they're doing it fully on purpose. It is fully intentional. Intentional disorganization. It's a violent shell game. Now, all I'm going to say to you is, in the words of Public Enemy, don't believe the hype. That's what I want to say. Now, I have links to the articles that I've been mentioning in the comments. And like I said, I just wanted to jump on here real quick, see what's going on with everybody. Appreciate you for tuning in, joining in the chat. And like I said, shout out to Hayes Plays. Shout out to Sasha. Shout out to Jose. Now, what you can do for me is like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit that notification bell and make sure you click on all. And answer this question for me, either in the chat or on the video on the comment page. Do you think 47 days of training is enough for someone with a badge and a gun? That's the question. Let's talk about it. Let's duke it out in the comments. This is your brother Shabazz, sometimes Professor Shabazz. I usually start off, but I'll end it this way. Hotep to the pro-Black Pan-African world and everybody else that knows how to look beyond the smoke and mirrors, because that's how you put puzzle pieces together and see the big picture. I'm out.